established Rich coming right back at you. And today we are stepping into one of the most polarizing and uncomfortable conversations in black culture. Not because it's new and not because it's shocking, but because it forces people to sit with two truths at the same time. On one hand, you have R. Kelly, the most decorated, impactful, and productive R&B artist of our time. On the other hand, you have R. Kelly the man, whose personal actions have caused harm, real pain, and real damage to real people. And now, here we are again, because Teddyriley, a legend in his own right, just threw gasoline on a fire that never really went out. He shares a record, a remix that was recorded behind bars.
I'm on this next for real. He loves to breathe, he loves my best for real. They let me out this bitch with you for real. Put my fans first, everything else is secondary. This my fans so much, I put them on my commentary. I miss Joanne, I miss the good for real. I ain't gonna lie, sometimes I said I feel for real.
Some people say this is unforgivable. Some people say, how dare you? And some people quietly say, don't play with me, that voice still hitting. And if you're being honest with yourself, you know exactly why this conversation is so hard. Because R. Kelly is not just a singer. He is a soundtrack. He is memories, weddings, funerals, slow dances, long drives, healing moments, broken hearts, black love. And when somebody like that is stripped from the culture, it don't feel clean. It feels complicated. And anybody trying to pretend this is simple is lying. Now, let me be clear right out the gate. Acknowledging R. Kelly's musical greatness does not equal endorsement of his actions. Those two things are not the same. And this is where we keep failing as a culture. We don't know how to hold complexity anymore. Everything has to be one side or the other. Angel or demon, hero or monster. And y'all know, real life don't work like that. Which is why his decision hit such a nerve. Because he ain't just post a throwback song. He posted a present moment. He said, still the king of R&B. And that sentence alone makes people lose their damn mind. So, let's talk about it like adults. R. Kelly did something no one else did at the level he did. Write, produce, arrange, perform, engineer emotion for himself and for others. He built an empire with no safety net. That's not debatable. What is debatable is what we do with that legacy now. Because here's a question nobody wants to ask out loud. Can art ever be separated from the artist? And before you answer that too fast, look at your playlist. Look at your favorite movies, your favorite athletes, your favorite leaders. We have been separating art from artists selectively for decades. The difference here is the pain is closer. The allegations are heavier and the emotion is rawer. And I respect anybody who says, I can't listen to that man. But what I won't do is pretend that people who feel different are monsters, because that's not honest. And when you see Chris Brown reacting positively, when you see fans saying he still got it, that's not random. That's cultural memory talking. That's years of music that never left people's hearts. Now, let's talk about why this is happening right now. R. Kelly is incarcerated, stripped of access, stripped of power, stripped of control. And yet, the music still moves. And that makes people very uncomfortable because it forces a question. If the music still connects without the man being free, what does that mean? And Teddyriley put his name in that question, whether you agree or not.
The verses?
Hell no, not even Mike. He would smoke Michael Jackson ass.
What about Usher?
Usher, he will smoke Usher ass. Anybody. You better go get God to create some fucking body. He will smoke anybody ass in the world. They know that. They know that. That nigga moonwalk the shit off Michael Jackson ass. Everybody know that. They just don't want to admit it. I'm going to speak the real. Who got more hits than him? Let's talk.
I concur. I do, because, listen, you gotta call a spade a spade. The kid is talented. He.
Now, me personally, as a music fan, yes, I am curious. Not because I forgot what happened, but because R. Kelly's brain is a once-in-a-generation music machine. And pretending that doesn't exist don't erase history. It just makes us less honest about it. That don't mean he get a free pass. It just means the conversation has to be real. And right now, the conversation is all emotion and no structure. Now, this is where the legal reality collides with the cultural memory. And this is where a lot of people start talking past each other. So, let me slow this down the way I would if we were talking face to face. R. Kelly is not someone waiting for a trial. These are not allegations hanging in the air. This is a convicted man serving a sentence. And any conversation about his music has to start right there. Not with nostalgia, not with hits, not with verses, with accountability. And here's the part that makes people shift in their seats. Accountability does not automatically mean erasure. We have never erased people from history just because they failed. We document them, we teach from them, we warn with them. But yet with R. Kelly, there's a push to act like he never existed, which is impossible. You cannot delete the soundtrack of multiple generations without damaging the culture itself. And that don't mean you play the music like nothing never happened. It means you deal with it properly. Now, this is where Teddyriley's role becomes important. Teddy is not a fan. Teddy is not a blogger. Teddy is not a kid commenting for likes. Teddy is a peer, a man who understands what it takes to build music at that level, which is why his support hits different. It feels like an industry insider saying, we can't pretend like this skill don't exist. And that makes a lot of people angry, especially parents, especially survivors, especially anyone who feels this opens a door that needs to stay shut. And I feel that, I really do. But here's what I want people to understand. Music is not just entertainment. Music is an archive. It is history recorded in melody. And when you try to erase it, you don't protect the future. You confuse it because future generations are gonna ask why this man was everywhere and now suddenly he's nowhere. And if we don't explain it properly, they'll explain it wrong. Now, let me say something that needs to be said without hysteria. Listening to music is not the same as excusing behavior. The same way reading a book about a criminal don't make you pro-crime. Intelligence requires separation without denial. And right now, social media don't allow that. Everything is a team sport. You're either with us or against us. And that is a childish way to handle adult reality. Now, let's talk about the other side. The side that don't get enough attention. Why is this coming back right now? Why not 2 years ago? Why not 5? Because we are in a moment where artists are being reevaluated. Catalogs are being bought. Legacies are being repackaged. History is being monetized. And R.Kelly has one of the most controversial, valuable catalogs in music history. So this ain't just emotion. This is business. And people don't want to say that out loud because that's the part that makes everybody uncomfortable. But money always reveals the truth. And the truth is, people are still listening. Quietly, privately, without posting, which is why this conversation keeps coming back. Now, do I think he should be celebrated publicly? No. Do I think the music should be studied, contextualized, and discussed honestly? Yes. And that is the line a lot of people don't want to walk because it requires maturity. It requires discipline. It requires not reacting from pure emotion. And culture right now is emotional driven, which is why this story is not going away. Look, this is about how our culture deals with contradiction, how we handle genius when it comes attached to damage. R. Kelly is a name that holds two truths at the same time. On one hand, a musical force who changed R&B forever. On the other hand, a man who caused harm and is now paying his consequences under the law. Both are true. Neither cancels the other. And that's where a lot of people get lost. We've been conditioned to think binary. Hero or villain. Genius or monster. Play or delete. Real life doesn't work that way. Real life is messy, uncomfortable, full of gray areas we don't want to sit with. But maturity is learning how to sit there anyway. Now, let's talk about why this moment feels different. Why Teddyriley's move hit a nerve. Because it forced a question we've been avoiding. Do we believe people can still contribute to culture after they've fallen? Not be celebrated, not be excused, but contribute in a way that's honest about where they stand. That question is bigger than music. It touches redemption, accountability, forgiveness, and limits. And everyone has a different line. Some people say it ain't no coming back. Others say you can never erase what he created. I'm not here to force a side. I'm here to say this. We have to stop pretending this is easy. We also have to stop pretending like discussing music is the same as defending behavior. Those two things are not the same. And when we collapse them, we lose the ability to think critical. Black culture has always been a place of complexity. We created art under pressure. We created beauty in pain. We created genius in chaos. And because of that, our history is not clean. It never has been. The goal is not to sanitize it. The goal is to tell it truthfully. That means acknowledging the harm without pretending like the music didn't change our lives. That means holding people accountable without burning down the entire archive. That means teaching the next generation how to engage with art without blind worship. And that last part might be the most important because this ain't just about R. Kelly. This is about what we do the next time a genius falls. And there will be a next time. So maybe the real question isn't should the music exist? Maybe the question is, are we mature enough as a culture to handle it responsibly? To say, this moved me and it's hurt people. To hold both of them without flinching. To let history be history and consequences be consequences. And if we can do that, then maybe, just maybe, we don't have to keep relearning the same lesson over and over. That's where I'm at. Not telling you what to listen to, not telling you what to feel. Just asking you to think deeper than the comment section. But hey, that's just my opinion. What's yours? Like, comment, subscribe. Established Rich. I'll be back with another one. Peace.